What's going on, and welcome back to another tip and trick of the trade. And in this video we're actually going to be going as far as a life-saving tip when it comes to tourniquet placement. Doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing, whether you're a civilian contractor, law enforcement, military, your conventional, or your special operations. When it comes to tourniquet placement, it is very important that you centrally locate your tourniquets. I've seen countless debates and arguments over SOPs, especially on the conventional side, and conventional leadership trying to force dudes to put their tourniquets in ankle pockets, cargo pockets, and shoulder pockets. And I can tell you that it's probably one of the stupidest SOPs known to man, because there are plenty of examples of guys getting injured and a limb being injured and that tourniquet being rendered completely useless because it was damaged in a blast, explosion, or it was shot. Or the worst case scenario is a guy's limb gets completely blown off and that tourniquet goes with that severed limb. So when it comes to tourniquet placement, I highly recommend setting up your tourniquets on the center of the belt, or just to the left or the right of the center of the belt, depending on how that belt is set up, and then centrally locating the second tourniquet on the bottom of the plate carrier, so that way they are both very easily accessible by the individual that may be injured, so he can provide self-aid to himself. Even if he's lost use of one of his arms, he can still apply it to himself. And then when it comes to buddy aid, it is centrally located. You cannot miss it. It's impossible to miss a dude that has both of his tourniquets on the center of his kit, and then that individual can provide buddy aid and then render aid to help get that dude to the next level of care and save his life. Whether it's just a wounded limb or a completely severed limb, you want to stop those bleeds as fast as possible, and centrally locating your tourniquets is going to be key. When it comes to setting up the tourniquets to your belt and your plate carrier, the best way of doing it is with hair ties. You just wrap those hair ties around the belt and the plate carrier MOLLE, and then you retain the tourniquet that way with the hair tie. It's going to work a lot better than rubber bands. Rubber bands over time will just get damaged with heat, weather, and climates and temperatures and all of that. They'll snap, and then your tourniquet risks falling off. When it comes to the argument over UV light damaging your tourniquets, the easiest and simplest way of setting up your tourniquet to protect it from UV light is just grab a $1 or $2 sunglasses case and throw that tourniquet inside of there, and then set it up on your kit. It'll protect it from the weather, the elements, the UV light, and all of that, to where you don't have to worry about it. I know some guys will argue that they don't want to have that tourniquet inside of a pouch or a pocket, whatever the case may be. They don't want anything inhibiting them from being able to pull that tourniquet off of their kit and then immediately apply it. So I'm going to leave that up to you, whether or not you want to roll the dice against some of the studies or attempted studies of UV light damaging tourniquets. I've seen a couple of them. I'm not going to get into it when it comes to that. There's a lot of variables that I think, as well as a lot of guys that I work with, think that aren't integrated into those studies. So that aside, if you're concerned about UV light, or you're concerned about abrasion and your tourniquets getting rubbed up against the environment and being damaged in that capacity, throw a sunglasses case around that. It will protect it from the elements, the environment, and UV light. So with that, real quick, just how you can set these up so that way you can actually see what it looks like for the setup piece. Just gonna pull this guy right out, and all you're gonna do is take these tourniquets, do a double wrap, so to speak, around the belt, and then that tourniquet is just gonna drop right into place like so. And then same on the other side. And then when you have to employ this, it just rips right out. Simple as that. If you want, you can actually just pull it from one side. You can grab the side with your time stamp and Velcro section and just pull it out that way. It will get caught up a little bit. You just got to put your finger in there, and then it comes right out. Make sure you're pre-staging your tourniquets, so that way if you need to pull these, they're already set up to where you open it up, and then you can apply it to both your leg or your arm. And then when it comes to the plate carrier setup, it's a pretty simple concept as well. You're just going to take that hair tie, loop it around the MOLLE section, and then you just take your tourniquet and retain it like so. from there, that'll just fall right into place. Kind of push it down a little bit further if you want to. Get it nice and tucked away. Some plate carriers will actually allow you to set that tourniquet completely underneath the plate. Some won't. This Cry Precision AVS won't, but yeah, it's all right. So that's just an example of how you can set those guys up. Like I said, again, if you want to protect it from UV light, just use a sunglasses case. And it is simple as that. Key thing is centrally locate them. Get away from throwing tourniquets inside of pockets and all of that. I know there are a couple other pouches out there that guys are using. I would recommend staying away from those because you have to fight that pouch to be able to pull that tourniquet out typically in those cases. So with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.